guys. Hope you're having a great night, a great day. I mean, you must be because you're hanging out with JBM Sports Media. We tried this last week. We had a lot of fun doing it, and we're going to do it again. You saw our prediction for the NFL weekend, and now we're going to come up with some prop bets and put them all together and make one big parlay. If you guys remember from the last video, unless you're new here, each of us take 2 legs and make it a 6-leg parlay. Nothing crazy. We're not betting our houses or anything else like that, but trying to have a little fun and add some excitement to the weekend. We had a proposition that if someone, a sole person, lost or was responsible for the loss of the bet, then they probably had to wear a bag on their head. Well, I don't know, boys. Which one of you want to say it first? Because my legs hit. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, me and Bruce split. We went 1 for 2 on our legs, so we went 4 for 6 total. Hopefully, if you guys followed some of the picks, you didn't follow all of them, and the ones you did follow hit. So we hope at least that happened. But yeah, me and Brew were very down and depressed about the whole thing, and we figured, instead of wearing bags over our heads, we'd rather come face to face with it and just say that we're the reasons why that the parlay didn't hit. We take full responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, look, Chicago's weather report really sold me the day of. I mean, it snowed 10 minutes before the game, and then it just, and you know what? To be fair, if the Packers would have kept doing what they were doing for one half, we would have been straight. But they let up 25 points in a fourth quarter, so guess what? We choked. And then Trevor Lawrence for JV, I mean, he could have had that in that last drive if he didn't get intercepted, if we could be honest.
Yeah, 100%. It was one play. That last drive in the fourth quarter was literally one play. He throws an interception, and there goes that. So he ended with 207 yards. I needed 18 more yards to complete the prop. So unfortunately, it didn't go that way. So
yeah, guys, listen, we're just like everybody else. Our parlays missed by that much. I mean, it happens. This is the nature of the beast. This is what we do. And listen, they call the parlay the sucker man's bet. So that's why we don't put a lot of money on them. It's just for fun. So, that's where we are. But
let's get it started. Here we go.
So all
right, let's start it off. This first prop is mine, and that is Bills plus 3.5. I believe it was minus 190 or minus 189 on FanDuel right here. I think this is actually a lock. Plus 3.5 for the Bills. I don't see them losing by a touchdown in this game. Simple fact, I think Josh Allen knows what this opportunity means. I think he's going to keep this game relatively close. I'm not saying that the Broncos are not going to win. I have the Broncos winning, but I think it could come down to a field goal at the very end. Mike actually had the Bills winning in this game, so I'm pretty sure he really likes this prop a little bit more safe as well. Me and JB did take the Broncos in our prediction video, but like I said, I think Josh Allen, as long as he's avoiding those sacks, making those plays with the arms, maybe rushing with his legs, I think the Bills are going to be in perfect position to cover the plus 3.5. I think it's a very doable start to our parlay.
Yeah, and I could actually see the game ending by 3, to be honest with you. I could see it at 3 points. Whoever wins this game, I could see being a 3-point win on either end. So I think Bills plus 3.5 is a safe play, and it's a smart play too.
Yeah, and like Bruce said, you guys know my position on the game. I think the Bills are going to win this game. So for me, that's a no-brainer for me. So I do like it. Also in that game, ironically enough, I'm going against the Bills. My leg is right below it. I'm taking R.J. Harvey to score a touchdown anytime. The reason why is similar to my reasons last week when I picked against the Bills for a rushing touchdown. They're horrible stopping the run, and they're one of the worst teams giving up rushing touchdowns in games. They're 1.2 rushing touchdowns per game. That's terrible. Well, it was 1.4 actually. They're one of the worst in the leagues at that. So I'm just going by the numbers, and I figured, Harvey went on a little stretch where he was scoring a touchdown almost every game for a few weeks in a row. He hasn't in, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks. So I think he's due. And against a team that gives up a ton of rushing yards and gives up a ton of rushing touchdowns, I think he's due to score.
Yeah, I like R.J. Harvey in this game, honestly. I think if they're in the red zone, they're going to try to protect the ball as much as possible, especially if they have, a lead and they're looking to pad the lead. I do think they're going to play it on the ground a lot more than they will in the air. And if the Broncos get out to a big lead, like 10 or 13 points, I can see Harvey getting a lot of touches. So I do like RJ Harvey in this game. I do think at some point he's gonna get one. I think maybe even in the pass game, they could utilize him, as a check down option. So just to create a little bit of a safer environment on the offensive side for Bo Nix. So I like this. I like RJ Harvey definitely scoring a touchdown this weekend.
Yeah, and RJ Harvey's been doing damage, like JV said, through the air, receiving the football. So I think that maybe could be where he finds this touchdown. A little check down to Bo Nix, scramble break, 7 yards, 8 yards, get to the end zone. I really like this RJ Harvey play. Let's move on to the second game on Saturday night, starting off with JV's first prop right here. I do believe it is. JV, get into it.
Yes. So yeah, I took Christian McCaffrey for 40 plus yards receiving. He's done this 6 times in his last 10 games. He did it last week as well. He had 66 yards receiving on 6 catches. He's had 6 or more pass attempts gone his way in the last 4 games. So he's definitely been a nice target, and I think he's going to be even more of a utilized target due to the fact that George Kittle is now out for the season, and they're going to need someone to pick up the slack. In the short game, I think, especially. So I like Christian McCaffrey for 40 plus yards. I do think he actually scores a touchdown as well. I didn't put that in there, but I do think he's been so good in the receiving game that he could actually score as well. He had 2 touchdowns last week receiving, so just look out for that as well. But I do like him to eclipse the 40-yard mark in this game receiving against Seattle.
I'm going to be honest with you. I love this play. I want to say it was one of our prediction videos. I forget which one that I flat out said you're going to get the McCaffrey game, and he gets 50 yards on the ground, and he gets 50 yards in the air. It's almost a guarantee in my opinion. He does that a ton. And then anything extra, it's just wow, this guy's an animal. So I think that's a fairly safe play. McCaffrey's going to get the looks. He's going to get what he's going to get. He's going to get the touches and he's going to get the receptions. He's always good for that until he's not. And you know what? He doesn't show any real signs of slowing down. I really like this play.
Yeah, and CMC has been more productive through the air as well. I mean, on the ground, he's been kind of underwhelming. I do believe if you guys do want to pivot as well, maybe 80 or 90 rush plus receiving yards combined, that could be perfect as well. But 40 receiving yards, I feel like it's automatic cash for CMC at this point. Guaranteed. Kittle's out with the torn Achilles, so he's going to have to step up very big for this 49ers offense. And Purdy, like I said, he's 4-0 at Lumen Field against the Seahawks. So I think McCaffrey's going to have to play a big factor for obviously them to advance, and I think this is a perfect prop.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm comfortable with it. I think he can have this, in the first half. To be honest with you, I think they're going to have to run their offense through CMC heavily on the ground and through the air. Honestly, I think it's going to set them up big for some bigger pass plays down the field. So expect to see him involved early.
Yeah, I agree with that. Wholeheartedly agree with that 100%. And I think he's, as long as the 49ers are in the playoffs and as long as McCaffrey is on the field playing, he's due to have a big game. And like Bruce said, we don't have George Kittle on the field, so that's just going to open up the ball more to give him more chances. So I really like that. We're going to move on to another one of mine. I took JSN for 80 yards. My logic behind all this is San Francisco's passing defense is relatively weak. I believe they're 25th in yards given up per game. And in both games this season, he's eclipsed that mark against San Francisco. In the last week of the season, he had 6 receptions for 84 yards. And I believe it was week 2, he had 9 receptions for 124 yards. The ironic thing about both of those games, he didn't score a touchdown. I found that very odd. So I didn't want to go back-to-back weeks with 2 touchdown guys again, because the touchdown ones, they're so hard to hit. You think you have it all figured out, the math, and it's this guy's due, this guy's whatever, and it goes a complete opposite way sometimes. So going by that, I mean, do I feel like JSN could get in the end zone? I mean, absolutely. He's one of the best wide receivers in football right now. He's probably one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in the playoffs right now. So I think he's going to get a lot of touches like he did all season. I mean, I picked him in fantasy. He was an absolute dog. And I really like this pick for JSN.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think with Darnold, obviously his health's been a little bit of a question at this point. With the oblique, he's going to be good to go. Everything's set. I think this is a no-brainer. I could even see him eclipsing the 100 receiving yard mark. Obviously, 80 is a little bit more safe, but I think it's safe enough to say that since JSN has hit this twice against the Niners this season, I don't see why he doesn't do it again. I think it's a perfect prop, another perfect prop. I think these CMC and JSN props right here are literally perfect props. I think in a way they're kind of safe. Yes, you could say, Purdy, the pressure with Purdy, is he going to hit CMC significant amount of times? I think CMC is going to get at least minimum 7 targets through the air. And JSN, I don't know. I feel like if he's not connecting with Darnold, they probably don't win this game. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think he's going to have a monstrous game. Maybe even have that touchdown like Mike said.
Yeah, I mean, JSN is the focal point of that offense in the passing attack. So, I mean, if they're going to be successful passing the ball, I think JSN's going to be involved. So 80 yards to me is something that's 100% doable. And like Rose said, San Francisco's pass defense hasn't been the best when it comes to, stopping the pass, uh, especially, on the yard side of things. They give up a lot of yards to wide receivers as well. So 80 yards to me is something that I think probably by the end of the third quarter, JSN could eclipse this. And if Seattle wants to be any type of successful, I think getting him the ball is imperative. So I like this a lot.
Yeah, I really do. All right, moving on to my last prop. I have Drake May over 20 rushing yards. This is minus 550, very safe. I think this is the cushion aspect of our parlay right here. Drake May has hit this line last 5 out of 5 games. He's been very good at when he's feeling the pressure and, he may be getting sacked. He finds a way to get out of that sack, creates at least 5 to 6 yard gain. I think especially with now that Texas D-line and the pressure that he's going to be facing in this upcoming game on Sunday afternoon, I think Drake May, without a doubt, is going to eclipse this very easily. I could even see, I had my friend RK, a quick shout out. He said go for 40. This is a little bit, like I said, more safe with the cushioning. 20 rushing yards for Drake May. I think it's completely fine to do, to be honest, completely fine.
Yeah, Drake May's been a guy that's been actually really good on his feet. I mean, when he has to make the play on his feet, he will. He's not scared to make a play when a play is broken down. When his receivers are covered, he will use his mobility, to extend the play. So I like Drake May for 20 yards. I thought it was definitely a little bit of a stretch for 40, even though he's been eclipsing 40 in a lot of those games, his previous games. But I think for the safer side of things, just trying to win some money, I think Drake May at 20 yards is a really nice prop bet to have.
Yeah, I like it also, and just to go further on the Drake May thing with the 40 yards, he's eclipsed that 3 out of his last 5 games. In his last game against the Chargers, he rushed the ball 10 times for 66 yards. That's running back numbers. That's second string running back numbers coming from your quarterback. I like this play. The rushing yards for the quarterback though, it's a safe. It seems safe with Drake May because he runs. It's just what scares me is always I've gotten screwed on this so many times, but that's what's going to be in the back of my head with this one particular. It's the only thing that jumped and gave me PTSD a little bit. I've had quarterbacks for 10 yards rushing or 15 yards rushing or whatever it is, and they'll have 17 and then they kneel at the end of the game. And it's just,
yeah, I know, that's the worst.
That is the worst. I hate that they take that as a negative rush. So guys, taking this bet, if you do see at some point, and God forbid this happens, which we don't anticipate, but be prepared for anything. If that does happen, don't be surprised that's why. I hate that they do that. I hate that they eliminate the rushing yards when a quarterback takes a kneel. I don't like it, but listen, it's part of the game. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think May is going to blow past that number. I'll be honest with you. I mean, he's running the ball phenomenally, especially of late. Like Bruce said, what is it? 5 straight games?
5 straight games eclipsing this 20 rushing yard mark.
And I think it's 6 out of 7 that he's done that as well. So,
yep.
He's looked very good doing it. So I do like this pick.
All right, let's move on to the last play. JV, this is yours. Take it home.
Yep. So my final pick is Puka Nacua for an anytime touchdown scorer. Basically, he scored 7 touchdowns in his last 6 games. So that's one of the reasons. And he scored 4 in a row. He's had a touchdown in his 4 last games in a row. So I personally think that Matthew Stafford's really going to be looking towards Puka. I think it's going to be they're going to try to open up the run game a little bit as well. But I can see a lot of play action passes where Puka just gets open downfield and he can sneak one in. But I actually expect him to maybe even score 2 in this game. But I'm playing safe with 1. I do think that they're going to rely heavily, on the pass game in general. And I do think that Puka is going to be basically have another game like last week. I believe he had 10 catches for over 100 yards. I can see that happening again in order for them to be successful. And the last time they did play the Niners, I think he went for 5 catches and 65 yards and a score. So that would be nice to look forward to if he can put up the same numbers. So I like Puka here. I think Matthew Stafford is going to really rely on him to get in the end zone. So Puka for anytime touchdown against Seattle.
You mean
against Chicago? Against Chicago. Excuse me. Yeah.
Perfect. I like this. I really do. He had 2 last game against Carolina, and obviously he could have had 3. He dropped one, obviously. I think it was at the end of the second half. He literally dropped one. I think that's in the back of his mind because in the second half afterwards, he kind of didn't play his best ball. But I think that's on the back of his mind, like I said, and I think he's going to redeem himself this weekend with at least a touchdown. It's going to be very cold out here, wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. So, look, I think Puka at some point is going to have that big catch, and I do see him getting in the end zone for 1 at least.
Yeah, I think it's going to be it's obviously, to me, it's a no-brainer. I feel like they're going to be throwing the football. So, yeah, hopefully Puka gets paid there.
Yeah, I like it. Similar to what I've said about JSN. Puka Nacua, he's arguably the other, 1A to 1B with him and JSN. As far as being probably the better receivers in the playoffs right now. Puka has been a beast since he's burst onto the scene. He seems to be, he's lighting the ball up everywhere. It seems that every game he's involved in something huge. I could see him getting in the end zone. I don't know if it's going to be early or late. I feel like I could see him almost in the dagger aspect where, the Rams, maybe he's the final one. I mean, why not? It's going to make us sweat. So that's usually how it goes. No?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially this being the last leg. So, yeah, maybe Puka late. Maybe that's a nice mid-third quarter touchdown I'll take. Or maybe late in the fourth. To make us sweat even more. Let's do that. But I love this pick. Puka Nacua, like I said, he's just so dominant. So, and especially him and Stafford, they have that connection. They have that chemistry. So I really do like that.
I love it. I really do. I think he's going to find the end zone, like I said, and not only because it's against the Bears, but I think that Bears secondary is going to be targeted with him and Devontae more so. So either or, maybe both of them see the end zone, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 2. He scored 2 a couple of weeks back, and like I said, he scored 4 in a row. So that they're finding him. So and last week he had 10 catches, so they're definitely targeting him a lot. So I think it's going to be inevitable for him to find the end zone.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and you know what? Similar to the other side of it as well. I mean, the Bears secondary is not good. They give up a ton of yardage per game. So, that just opens the floor for a guy like Puka. Especially if he gets out into the open field and if he's got one man to beat and make a move, he's going to beat him. He's going to beat him, and he's going to take it home. So, I really do like that.
And this overall play is listen, it's definitely on the safer side. Obviously, touchdown scorers they always make you sweat because it's obviously hard to come by. But this should hit. I love the value as well. It's plus 1241 on FanDuel. So obviously, if you guys are new to throwing some money on some games, if you throw $100 on it, you'll win $1,241. So just put it that way. So it's a pretty good value. I like this. It's only 6 legs, like I said. Us 3 putting 2 legs each, so I think there's a lot of good value with these picks that we made here today.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. So guys, if you're still here, unless you took the parlay and ran with it before you heard our explanations, shame on you because I thought we broke this down pretty well. But if you are still here in the comment section, why don't you let us know if you're going to follow a bet, maybe how much you're going to throw on it. Like I said, we're not expecting anybody. We're not doing that. We're not putting a house up for this. It's like you said, it's a little bit of fun. I may throw $20 on this, nothing crazy. But let us know what you agree with. Maybe if there's something that maybe you feel like you want to tweak, by all means, you can throw that at us. We'll see it. maybe if you go your own route, why don't you screenshot and throw your parlays in our comment section when we see, who did what. Also, guys, listen, just bet responsibly. Don't be crazy. Don't do anything out of pocket. This is not a guarantee. Listen, we broke everything down. We gave you reasons as to why we think this way, but that doesn't mean it's guaranteed. Just a little PSA on that. Outside of that, we appreciate you guys listening. And listen, I can't wait to see what happens if one of our legs don't hit and what we're going to do to that person that is responsible for that. Hopefully it's not me. I'm sure Jay and Brew don't want to be the butt of the joke this time next week as well. And listen, as we get closer to the Super Bowl, we're going to probably try to get a little more maybe creative or a little more simple if we miss here. But like I said, we had great explanations to everything that we wanted to do. And I'll say again, guys, appreciate you hanging out with us.